I'm Harper.
And I'm Kelly. And today we want to talk to you about Harper's hearing loss. We thought we would share her story here on our YouTube channel, and that way I have moms all the time who have newly diagnosed children that have hearing loss, and people will send them to us because we try to use Harper's story to encourage others and to encourage moms. And so I thought this would be a great way to use this that I can share with the moms out there or anyone who has hearing loss or children with hearing loss. Or just maybe you're curious what it's like, or you wonder, you have a friend that has hearing loss and you want to hear from our perspective. We thought we would share Harper's story with you. So Harper was born. She developed pneumonia while she was being delivered, and so she came out not breathing and had to be rushed, airlifted to a hospital where she spent a month in the NICU. Well, while she was there, she was on an oscillator for a couple weeks, and that can cause hearing loss. We didn't know that at the time. Wouldn't have mattered because we just wanted her to live, and she did, and that's what's important. But when she was about 18 months, I started noticing, she was my first child, but I started noticing I didn't think she was talking very much. And I just kind of had a mom's intuition that something wasn't right. So I took her to the ENT, and they sent us to an audiologist who did some tests. Well, at the audiologist, I'll remember they told me, yes, she has severe hearing loss and is going to need hearing aids. And I just wasn't expecting that. And so I remember going out to my car, sitting in my car. I was very, very pregnant with Hollis, our second child, and just sobbing my eyes out because I thought, what is this going to look like? And my little baby's going to have to wear hearing aids, and what is her life going to be like? And I just was devastated. I'll be honest, I was devastated. So then they sent us to Children's Hospital in Little Rock, and the first time we went there to have her tested, we saw a lot of kids that had a lot bigger problems. And I remember my husband and I just walking out of the hospital crying because we were like, this is not that bad compared to everybody else, and it's going to be okay. And so they did a sedated ABR, which means they put her to sleep and test her brain waves or the sound waves to her ears, just kind of to get an exact diagnosis. And they let us know that she did have sensorineural bilateral moderate to severe hearing loss. So that means it was in both ears, and it's something that's in the nerves. She's not able, moderate to severe hearing loss. And so she got her first pair of hearing aids when she was 2. Hated them. Wouldn't wear them. Hated them. Would throw them off, hide them around the house. I could probably get her to wear them like an hour a day. And I remember the audiologist could see how long we would go to the appointments, and they could tell how long she'd been wearing them, and they'd say, well, she's only worn these like an hour a day. And I'm like, you get a toddler to wear hearing aids. You can't get her to wear shoes, much less hearing aids. So that was tricky at first, and we put her in speech therapy, which I highly recommend if you have a child with hearing loss, that's one of the first things you do is get them in speech therapy and get as much as you can. And thankfully, there's so many resources out there, but you really have to be your child's advocate. So I had to go to work right away we went through early child intervention. Most states have that, and we were able to get a couple of free days a week of speech therapy, and then we got her in private therapy, which is very expensive, but once again, there's help. And the thing that I would tell you is to get your state should have TEFRA Medicaid, which is for kids with disabilities, and it's not like a free government thing. It's one of those things you have to pay a premium based on your income, but it's so worth it if you're doing a lot of speech therapy and getting hearing. It pays for hearing aids and doctor's visits. And at first we were going to the audiologist like once a month to Little Rock, so bills mounted up. But this TEFRA will pay for all that. You pay the premium, and it's on top of your regular insurance, but it helps so much. We actually canceled it last year because we're not doing speech therapy anymore, and we were actually paying way more for TEFRA than we would have just paying out of pocket for hearing aids and doctor visits. So, but while we needed it, amazing. So that's another thing I would tell moms out there to do. But we put her in speech therapy. She had terrible speech, but now she speaks very clear. Most people don't even, because she has long hair and her hearing aids are covered, most people who meet her would never guess in a million years that she can't hear. She we put her in public school for kindergarten, and it's one thing to know is it's hard for kids who can't hear to learn to read or learn their letters because they can't hear the sounds. And so I was really worried about that going into kindergarten because she didn't know any of her letters. As much as she had been to preschool, we had worked with her, but she just didn't know. But she came out of kindergarten. I was so nervous. She came out of kindergarten reading like a champ. She reads way above grade level. She just finished 5th grade. She makes straight A's. She has tons of friends. She plays the guitar. She plays the piano. She did swim team. She's done everything any other kid has ever wanted to do, just in a different way. And sometimes we just have had to learn to adapt. She reads lips really well. We put captioning on the TV when we watch that. Some things were more hard, like talking on the phone is very difficult for her. Even FaceTime is kind of hard. There's a lot of things that I didn't even realize till she got older, like it was very hard for her to understand music, the words to songs. Sometimes she still gets them mixed up because she can't hear them. Church is hard because it's hard for her to hear like the pastor or whoever's speaking at the front. So there's things that we are learning as we go how to help her. But overall, I don't think your life is any different. It's just things that we've had to learn to do differently. Going to the beach is tough, or the pool, because she can't wear hearing aids, and I'm getting nervous when she gets out in the ocean and I know she can't hear at all. And there was a time when we found out that her hearing was actually getting worse, but it's kind of plateaued off for right now, so we're very grateful for that. Harper, you want to just talk about like what it's like to have hearing loss?
So at first I think it was kind of hard because I have an FM system. It's like just a little microphone that the teachers wear, and it connects to my hearing aids for teachers to help me hear. And at first I didn't have that, and so it was harder for me to hear. But after I got that, it was just kind of a blessing because I could hear way better, and I used to not really know what the teacher was saying, and so I'd always have to ask the person beside me what she said, and they kind of got tired of it. But after I got the microphone, it helped me so much more, and I like to think of my hearing aids as a blessing in disguise. And it may be hard at first, but really it can be something truly amazing, and you can still make friends and do everything that you normal people would do, just you to do it a little differently sometimes. And I used to not know anyone that was hard of hearing or deaf, but this year in middle school I got someone in my class, and she's now my best friend, and she's deaf, and
she has a cochlear implant.
Yeah, she's a cochlear implant, and I'm just so blessed that God put her in my life, because if it weren't for her, I still wouldn't have someone to lean on if I have any questions about like hearing. And I've learned a lot more from her because she was just born deaf, and so she was just automatically born without hearing. So I think it gets easier to know what people are saying. Like my mom said, I can lip read, and so sometimes it's a little easier when I can hear them through the FM system and lip read. And I think it's just amazing how much God has blessed me. And for anyone who's hard of hearing or deaf, I wouldn't really worry about it. And if you have anything to worry about, I would just ask my mom or just pray to God about it. And I'm just so thankful for everyone that's in my life, because excuse me, I've never been bullied, and I've always been worried about getting bullied every year, but I've never been made fun of, which I'm so grateful for, because I know some people do get made fun of, and I'm just so thankful for that. I don't get made fun of.
We decided early on that we weren't going to do sign language even though we've kind of learned some and we've worked on it some over the time, and we love it, but just because of our community, we didn't know anyone else in our area that did sign language, so I didn't know who in the world she would communicate with that way besides us, and I wanted her to have every chance to communicate in the hearing world, and so that's why we chose to go with speech and just be very verbal with her and the lip reading, and I always try to make sure she, like, when she was little especially, that she was looking at my face. If I needed to tell her something, I would be like, look at my face. So she would read my lips. And we just never let this define her. We know that it's just a small thing. Everybody has something that's hard for them. And this is our hard thing. And but it's not going to define you. It's not going to be a crutch. She can do anything she wants to do. And we're not, we don't look at it as a disability. We do look at it as a blessing and something that God can use. It's her story.
Yeah, and I have some friends, and some of my best friends, they never treat me differently because of my hearing aids. They never just think of me as the girl with hearing aids. They always think of me as their friend, which I'm very grateful for.
And one thing that's hard is if is a kind of a bummer for you is when people say something and then Harper's like, what? And if you say, like, never mind, or you get irritated because you have to repeat yourself, I think that really hurts Harper's feelings sometimes because she can't hear her. And so if you have a friend that's hearing impaired and they have to ask you a few times, like, what? Don't get frustrated. And even I've done that to you probably, so I'm like, never mind, Harper. But I try to remember she can't hear and to tell it again and be patient with that. So
Yeah.
We hope this is helpful to you if you have a child with hearing loss and maybe you just were diagnosed and you're scared. It's scary. It's stressful at first, but it really is. I mean, it's just a little small part of who Harper is. And if you ever have any questions, we would love to answer them. Email us. We would love to try to encourage you and help you and know it's going to be okay. And it's just you just have to learn to do some things differently. But other than that, it's really a great thing. So thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.